Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over an updated Game Week 30 wildcard. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment. What are your plans for the FPL Game Week 30 deadline? Subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, the FA Cup games are now over, and we have a much clearer image of which teams are going to be blanking and which teams are going to be doubling. We might not get the official kind of placements of these double game weeks until after the Game Week 30 deadline, which is why Game Week 31 wildcard is a little bit better, so you can obviously choose your team based on all that. But the very, very smart people on Twitter, Ben Crellin, etc., have confidently said what they think is going to happen, and it looks like certain teams are going to be obviously doubling in 33 and then blanking in 34. A couple of teams could be doubling in 36, yada yada yada. So this wildcard is based on that. Again, it's not confirmed, but they're very likely to be the way that the kind of fixtures are pushed into the sort of schedule. You know, Ben's been doing this for a very, very long time. So teams like Palace, Villa, obviously Arsenal going to be doubling, City, etc. They just haven't been confirmed yet. The only confirmed double game week is, of course, Palace and Newcastle. But anyway, let's break down this Game Week 30 wildcard, and let's take a look at the goalkeepers and the defenders first. So in goal, we do have Raya and Areola. Arsenal very, very likely to be doubling 33, I do believe, and then of course blanking in 34. If you don't have a free hit, then maybe your wild card may have to look a little bit different. I'm basing this wild card on that your chip strategy is literally Game Week 30 wild card, free hit 34, and then probably like triple captain 32 maybe on Isaac, and then whenever you bench boost in probably like 36 or something, because as you can see, there's a lot of black squares on this team, and that's because they're all going to be blanking in 34. But anyway, in goal we've got Raya and Areola. Raya, of course, just because Arsenal very, very likely to double in Game Week 33, and then Areola is there. He's a cheap playing goalkeeper, perfect for the bench boost. If you've already used your bench boost and you don't really need another goalkeeper, like you're going to be free hitting in 34, then you can obviously save that money. There's 3.9 mil goalkeepers now, so you could save that 0.3 if need be, and obviously use that money elsewhere. But if you do still need to use your bench boost, then I would definitely consider going Areola, who has some nice fixtures as well. I mean, Raya's fixtures are fine. You're not really going to play Areola over him, because when he's got Southampton at home, like Raya's got Ipswich away, which is still a very nice fixture. But you could still go Areola if you back him a little bit more. But again, Raya's probably going to be doubling that week anyway, so it's not really worth it. But those are the two goalkeepers. Other options, of course, Newcastle goalkeeper, Crystal Palace goalkeeper. You could always go for a different option like that, but I just think Raya is very, very safe. But those are the goalkeepers, Raya in goal and also Areola. At the back, we've got Konza, Byrne, Munoz, Gabriel, and Gvardiol. So Konza very likely to double because obviously Aston Villa are through to the semi-finals. We already know that Newcastle are doubling in 32, and they may also be doubling in 33 as well. We have Munoz, obviously got Southampton away, which is a very nice fixture. The fixtures aren't incredible from a defensive standpoint for Crystal Palace, which is why I do understand the argument of not going Munoz. But if they do double back-to-back, he plays like a winger at times. You know, the clean sheets are just kind of a bonus for this player because he gets forward that much, and he's more forward than Eze and plays like Sarr and stuff like that at times. So I definitely really like him as an option, even if the defensive fixtures don't look great. Also gone Gabriel and Gvardiol as well. So we've gone quite expensive at the back in regards to the players that we're bringing in from City and Arsenal, but I think Arsenal triple up is just very, very likely to be one of your best options because they've got Fulham, Everton, Brentford doubling. Yeah, they're blanking in 34, but it's just a really nice fixture run coming up for Arsenal. And then Gvardiol, Leicester at home this week. Again, Leicester have not scored in like 7 or 8 fixtures, and as well as that, very likely to double in 33 as well. And he's basically like the only guaranteed starter for City as well. So I really like this back line. You could obviously chop and change them slightly if you wanted to save a little bit more money on Gabriel. Then maybe you go a little bit cheaper. You go a Saliba, you go a Timber. Obviously with Ben White back now, that might shake things up a little bit. I definitely think Gabriel is the defender you go for from Arsenal. But if you're trying to save money somewhere, then obviously you go for somebody else. Munoz, like I say, there's not really any other Crystal Palace player that I'd go with. There are cheaper ones from the defense, but as I say, the defensive fixtures aren't great. You're really bringing Munoz in for that attacking potential. Gone Dan Burn as well, he's cheaper. He's one of the cheapest Newcastle defenders. He might be the cheapest, actually, that's going to guarantee to play. You could go Livramento, who's a little bit more expensive, but I do really like Dan Burn's kind of, I guess, aerial threat on corners and stuff. Can always net you a goal. He's like 6'5". He's always winning that header. And then also Konza as well. Like I say, just a cheap way into that Villa defense, who do have Southampton away coming up as well. So I do like the Konza shout as well. But that is the back line and the goalkeepers. In midfield, we've gone Kluivert, Sarr, Saka, Salah, and Murphy. So as you can see, of course, Saka is flagged. This is completely up to you whether you want to bring him in now and save a transfer down the line, or you just play somebody else this week, and then of course you just bring him in later. So let's talk about Saka and Murphy at the end, because I do want to talk about them in a little bit more detail, but let's just go over the obvious options right now. So we've gone Kluivert this week, who's got Ipswich at home. Again, really nice fixture coming up on penalties. It's just a safe bet, really cheap on penalties. His minutes aren't as good as they could be. And you could obviously go with somebody like Rodgers as well instead, who of course will be doubling in 33 most likely. But you can kind of cross that bridge when you get to it. You can use those transfers down the line. I just think Kluivert over the next few is definitely better than Rodgers. Maybe you bring Rodgers in when he has Southampton away just before the double. But for the next two, I think Kluivert is a really nice pick. Sarr as well. Again, you could go Eze if you wanted to, but I think those funds should be used elsewhere, in my opinion. And Sarr is a solid option anyway, going forward. I think he actually had a price rise last night as well. He's now 5.7, but of course he's very cheap anyway. So he's a really nice way into that Crystal Palace midfield. And then Mo Salah just picks himself, again, unlikely to double again this season, but with the season that he's having, I just don't see how you can go without him. He's just the best player in the league right now, and his stats are absolutely ridiculous. So those are the three players that kind of pick themselves. Let's talk about Saka and Jacob Murphy. So first of all, Saka, as I said, he is flagged right now. He's back in training and everything. We hopefully should get an update before the deadline. Of course, I'm recording this before any kind of press conference or anything like that. So we'll see what the update is. Obviously, if Mikel Arteta's like, yeah, he's fine, he's good to go, then obviously you go with him. He might get kind of slowly merged back into the squad. So maybe he gets like 30 minutes against Fulham, he gets like 60 against Everton, and then he starts playing 90 against your Brentford, your Ipswich, ready for the double, which is fair enough. That could easily happen. He is coming back from a hamstring injury, which of course are horrible injuries to have, and you don't want to kind of bring him into... You don't want him to do too much too soon. So if you didn't want to go Saka, you didn't want to risk it, or let's say the press conference just wasn't very, I guess, reassuring, then obviously I think you just go Cole Palmer, who is also flagged, but he's basically been in training. He's absolutely fine. And then you just have Cole Palmer, and then he's an easy swap now to Saka. You're saving 0.5 mil as well from Palmer to Saka. So I just think that that's just the direction you go instead, if you want to play a little bit more safe. And the fixtures aren't terrible either for Cole Palmer. I know he's completely out of form right now, but he's just an easy option that you just switch into Saka, because there's not really anybody else that you'd rather go to. Like, there's Bruno Fernandes, but the fixtures aren't great for him. So I think I'd just go Palmer and then kind of bring him down to your Saka. In regards to Jacob Murphy, he's fine as an option in my opinion, and his minutes are fine. Obviously, Gordon's suspended until the 7th, I do believe. But if you did want to just have Gordon, so you don't have to use that transfer down the line, then I can kind of back that as well, because I'd much prefer Gordon for the double game week, for the double game weeks instead of Murphy. And obviously, Gordon will be back for the double as well. He's going to miss the Brentford game. He'll be back for Leicester, and then obviously you've got United and Palace. So you're just kind of saving that transfer down the line. It just depends what your team's going to be this week. Like, you could bring Gordon in and then just play a 3-4-3 this week, and just play the strikers, and then just play Kluivert, Sarr, Palmer, Salah, and then you just play maybe Gvardiol, Gabriel, and Munoz at the back. Because then you can just bench Gordon. You don't need him. And then he's back, and then you don't have to use a transfer to bring him in, because he's a much better option than Murphy, in my opinion. Again, he might not outscore Murphy. He is more expensive than Murphy. He's 2.4 mil more. But I just like him a lot more as an option. And again, it all depends on money. I've got 0.3 mil left in the bank if I do this. So maybe you don't have that much money. Maybe you have more. But that's just kind of something that I would think about doing, because Yeah, he is also injured as well, but I think he's going to be absolutely fine by the 7th of April. And then you've got him for Leicester away, which is really nice. Then you've got him for the double. You got him for potentially another double as well. You know he's going to play every game as well, unless of course he gets red carded. So that's the midfield, very chopping and changing. Either Saka or Palmer, or either Murphy or Gordon. It's obviously completely up to you, because I don't really think I'd use a transfer from Murphy to Gordon, because it's just a bit sideways. But if I was going into it and I had to pick one of them, maybe Gordon's, because you don't need him this week. Like, are you really going to be playing Murphy this week? And if you're not, maybe you just go Gordon instead. But anyway, those are the midfielders, the defenders, and the goalkeepers. Finishing things off up top, we've got Marmoush, Isak, and also Mateta. So with the injury to Haaland, a lot of wild cards have changed, and it's just allowed us to have so much more money for the remainder of the team. Like, with Haaland instead of Marmoush, you can't be bringing in Palmer, you can't be bringing in Gordon, you know, you can't be bringing in Gabriel and Gvardiol. It frees up so much more money, and we don't know the extent of Haaland's injury. We should get an update before the deadline, but he was leaving the Vitality Stadium in crutches, so it doesn't look great. He's very likely to miss the Leicester game. From crutches on Sunday to playing on Wednesday or whenever they play is very unlikely. Again, it could have just been precautionary, but it didn't look great. So Marmoush is a really nice option. I think he should play anyway. Like, he always scores for City. I don't know why he's not playing. I think he's such a solid option. When the double kind of comes around, though, is he going to be starting? It's just one of those things. You're just going to have to take the gamble. For that 7 mil difference, he's definitely worth it. And Haaland missed another penalty as well. Maybe Haaland is off pens now. Who even knows? And then also we've got Isak, Mateta. They completely pick themselves. You've got to go with Isak. And then with Mateta, yeah, he came off on like the 60th minute in the FA Cup, but he should be fine anyway. He wasn't going to play the full 90 regardless, but I think if Haaland is out, the front three just completely pick themselves, especially with the likes of Chris Wood being out now for like a month. I just think these are the front three that everyone's going to go with. In my personal opinion, I don't know if I'm going to wildcard yet. My team is kind of all over the place. I'm probably going to wait for press conference and stuff and then probably activate it. But I'm probably like 70-30 activating it. If I do end up activating it, we'll make a video tomorrow going over my wildcard draft, because obviously it's going to be a very, very short turnaround because the deadline is tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the press conferences. But yeah, that's kind of the wildcard draft that I've come up with today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 100 likes. Leave a comment. Are you activating your wildcard for Game Week 30? Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. It's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, peace.